Another thing, guys, that I would like to explain to you, it is all these conditions. You should know all of these conditions there. And now this video, guys, it is based on these conditions, and I'll show you how do you apply these conditions. So you should understand that when you see g of x, it's equal to f of x. That thing, what does it mean to you? It means that it's a point of intersection. It means that's where your graph, they intersect there. When you see this thing, it means that's where those two graphs, they meet here. But I will show you how do you conclude. I will show you by using a question. So this thing, it represents a point of intersection whereby two graphs, they meet. Then if you see g of x, it's greater than f of x. That thing, what does it mean? It simply says that g of x is above f of x there. If this graph is greater than f of x, it means that this graph, it is above that one. You will see this thing when we apply questions. But if you see g of x less than f of x, it means that g of x, it is what? It is below f of x there. So please know the difference between these two things. When you see greater than, it means it's above. When you see less than, it means it's below. Do you see this thing? Yeah. So if now you see something like this, there here it's 0. They say g of x, it's greater than 0. What does that thing mean? Something which is greater than 0, guys, it's something that is positive. It simply says that the graph there, it is positive there. The graph, it has a positive values there. When you see something like this, g of x, it's greater than 0. Something that is greater than 0, it's positive. But if you see something which is less than 0, it means that the graph there, it's negative. Because something that is less than 0, it's something that is negative, guys. I hope you also understand as well as this one. So let me show you this one. This one, they usually confuse most of the learners. Here we are multiplying two graphs here. Do you see this thing? And those two graphs, guys, that we multiply them, those two graphs, both of those two graphs, they are greater than 0. It means those two graphs there, when we multiply them, they should be greater than what? 0. In order for them to be greater than 0, it means that they should have the same sign, guys. Because we know that when we multiply same sign, we get what? We get positive. There, we got positive. That thing, what does it mean to you? It simply means that when we multiply them, they will be greater than 0. It means that they will be positive, those graphs. Do you understand? Yeah. And in order for those two graphs to be positive, they should have the same sign. Because when we multiply same sign, we got positive. So in other words, guys, when you see something like this, whereby we multiply two graphs and they are greater than 0, it means that both of the graphs that they have the same sign. Both of them, they will be positive, or both of them, they will be negative there. So take note about that. Or this thing, they can express it like this there. They can say divide there. All this thing there, when you divide it, it is greater than 0. It means that that thing there, it's positive. And in order for it to be positive, when we divide, it means that we should have the same sign. Because when we divide the same sign, we got positive there. Do you see? So guys, when you see something like this there, and it's greater than 0, it means that both of those two graphs, they should have the what? The same sign. Yeah. So if we multiply or we divide two graphs and they are greater than 0, it means that they are having the same sign. But now, if now we are multiplying two graphs and they are less than 0, it means that those graphs, they will have a what? A different sign. Because when you multiply different sign, we should get what? Negative there. And what does that negative mean? It means that those two graphs are less than 0. It means that those two graphs are less than 0. And in order for them to be less than 0, they should have different sign. Because when you multiply different sign, you should get negative there. Even as well when you divide. When you divide different sign, you should have what? Negative. Because those two graphs are less than 0 there. Do you see this thing? Yeah. So if you see two graphs there, when we multiply two graphs or we divide two graphs, but they are less than 0, it means they have different sign. If this one is positive, it means the other one is negative. But if this one is negative, it means the other one is positive. Even as well as here, if this is positive, this is negative. If that is negative, this one is positive. So please guys, take a note about these two things, because they are so confusing. Most of the learners, they don't get this thing right. And I'm sure you don't wanna be one of those learners who doesn't get this thing right. So if you want to get this thing right, try to check the way I will apply them in these questions.